Hi, this is Andrea Fox, the divorce lawyer lady. I'm here to talk to you about various issues surrounding divorce and family law and child custody. Nothing said in this video is intended to be legal advice. I'm only licensed in the state of Montana and only speak about family law generalities that I have seen in my practice here that could possibly apply to your situation in different areas. As always, I recommend consulting a local attorney for your specific situation. Also, I'm not one of you young hip kids that's good at selfies and videos, so just be gentle, okay? Today I wanted to talk to you about co-parenting tips that I have found to be very true in my line of work over the past almost 13 years. And I'll start with a simple 3, and then I will give you a bonus tip. And your mileage may vary. These things may not apply to your situation, but they're the biggest, most helpful things that I have experienced in my practice. All right, co-parenting tips. Co-parenting is the name of the game when you're getting divorced and you have kids. Judges love to see you successfully co-parenting. But you divorced or split up with baby daddy or baby mama for whatever reason, and it doesn't always mean you guys are on great terms. So these are a few things to just keep in mind as you move forward and try to establish a positive co-parenting relationship, which is challenging. Number 1, the biggest one, don't smack talk your ex in front of your kid. I know it's tempting. You're frustrated. You've been through the ringer. This whole process usually just sucks. That kid doesn't need to hear it. They're having a tough enough time. They don't need to hear about how mommy or daddy is a jerk. There's a quote from a judge. I couldn't find it before this video, but I found it very relevant to my practice, and that is, that child is half you and half that other parent. So if you say, daddy's an idiot or daddy's a jerk or mommy's a bitch, that kid is hearing that half of them is bad. And I know you don't want your kid to think half of them is bad, because they're not. So by not smack talking your ex in front of your kid, you are helping your kid maintain a good self-image for themselves throughout this process. It can be tremendously damaging to a child to hear that, half of them is bad, or that, they should think poorly of their other parent. It puts them in the middle, and they're not supposed to be there. You're the grown-up, you make that choice. You're the one handling it, not them. Also, judges hate it. If they hear that one of the parents has been smack-talking the other in front of the kid, they will come down pretty hard usually. All right, number 2, get your kid to a therapist. They may seem fine, you may think they're coping well, but having more support for your child, especially in these tricky situations, it just can't hurt anything. Before you get your kid into therapy, make sure it's the right therapist. I always tell people that if you are on the right side of this and you think that you might want this therapist to testify in court, you need to make sure they will do that before you sign up with them, because a lot of therapists don't want to appear in court, and even if they're on your side, they won't say so in court, and they end up almost being like a hostile witness. So if you want them to possibly testify at some point, if you think it could be beneficial, make sure they would be willing in the future. Establishing a supportive base for your child during this process is probably one of the kindest things you can do for them. And even if it doesn't seem like something's wrong, a lot of times there's something bubbling below the surface. And like I said, more support for your kid during this time never ever hurts, especially when it's someone who's completely removed from the situation, not embroiled and enmeshed in this, really complicated thing. It can give them some perspective and just someone to talk to that doesn't have a side. My third tip is Our Family Wizard. It is a subscription-based program. They do have scholarships for it. I am not being paid to advertise this at all. It is one of my favorite features for dealing with these situations. The thing about establishing a co-parent relationship is there are so many little points, I call them frustration points, where you two will be communicating and it falls apart. And the more you communicate, the more it falls apart. So minimizing those frustration points, I think, is really helpful on just making less bad things between you two. Making there be less bad things. Also, judges love it. If, at least in this jurisdiction, and I know in a lot of the neighboring states, it is a big deal. If you ask a judge if you can use it, you can. So what is Our Family Wizard? Like I said, it's a program. There's different levels, so there's some that have more functions than others. the biggest feature that I like is the messaging feature, because it shows, it gives read receipts. It has a log that you can print, and it shows, a tone meter if you have the top subscription package, I think it is, that tells you if one of you is being a jerk. No joke. It will like AI analyze what you wrote, and if you're in the red, they're like, tone it down, and you try to get in the yellow or green. But when you're newly establishing this relationship and you have not been in a good communication pattern, that can be everything. Just having a couple nice exchanges can change the tone of your relationship with your ex, for the better. It also has a calendaring feature, so that you can communicate about stuff without having to text every time. Oh, the Christmas program is December 2nd. You just put it on the calendar. You don't have to even talk about it. There's a reimbursement feature, so same thing. A lot of times you feel like you're shaking someone down like a bookie, wanting to get reimbursed for your insurance copay or an extracurricular or something. Instead, you just submit the request through Our Family Wizard, and it tracks it and shows if things were paid and when. So that leads me to the final point about Our Family Wizard that's so cool, is that you can share your Family Wizard with different professionals. Therapists, attorneys, judges will go in and analyze your Our Family Wizard or look at it. So it kind of gives a little bit more accountability. This isn't just text between you two. This is something that anyone can see and anyone can access, and that can be really good for you, really bad for you, really good for your ex. I don't know. It depends on your case, but it's nice to have a record. Of course, I'm a lawyer saying that, but it really is. So my bonus tip for today is don't put anything in writing that you don't want read aloud in court. I know that seems paranoid, but truly I've seen this happen so many times. Baby daddy will write baby mama this nasty thing about how she's a whore and he hates her and he never should have had a kid with her. Well, flash forward 6 months, that's being read in court. And that makes the person sending that sort of message look absolutely horrible. So I don't want you to do that. Also, it's just not nice. But just try to keep all of your written communication on the up and up. And if you have trouble with that, there's a lot of great articles and inputs and professionals that can help you become a better communicator. And really, that's the name of the game in co-parenting, is learning to communicate with each other in a new situation and in hopefully a healthier way than you had during your relationship. All right, well, I think those are my biggest co-parenting tips for today. Like and subscribe if you want more tips for your family law case, and feel free to check out my website if you want any more information on me and my practice, www.mtfoxlaw.com, and I believe that's linked as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and good luck.